8:15 is the time. Good morning. Now, the BBC has seen footage of what looks like untreated sewage being discharged into the River Thames in Oxfordshire.
It's coming out of an overflow pipe connected to the Cassington treatment works run by Thames Water. Local campaigners believe the company could be in breach of its permit. Thames Water says it is investigating.
Now, this week, the BBC revealed data suggesting that 7 water companies discharged untreated sewage into rivers and the sea more than 3,000 times between 2017 and 2021. Zoe Conway has more.
It's -2 degrees at Port Meadow in Oxford, but nothing will deter these students from their morning swim.
It's not quite euphoria, but it's almost like just your brain just clears, and especially like being like anxiety and like just feeling so like caught up in everything. And it's also that connection with nature that's just so like you really can't get it from anywhere else.
How aware are you of the sewage pollution issue?
It's quite a big deal for us because obviously we're very aware that swimming in the river we're putting ourselves at risk. We say to everyone before swimming we can't guarantee that the water's safe.
Who can blame these students for being concerned when 2 kilometres upstream a camera lowered into the river reveals this, what looks like untreated sewage coming out of an outflow pipe and into the River Thames. It was filmed by the Windrush Against Sewage Pollution campaign group. They recorded on one day last week and in mid-December. Campaigner Vaughan Lewis worked in the water industry for 40 years.
Looking at the screen now, it looks like you've got some brown fuzzy material coming down. Looks like faeces, and there's some white, which again, pieces look like toilet paper.
The pipe is connected to this sewage treatment works in Cassington near Oxford, which is run by Thames Water. 18,000 people's sewage is processed here. Water companies are allowed to discharge untreated sewage into our rivers in exceptional circumstances, such as heavy rainfall. So they can be found to be breaking the law if they're doing it when the conditions are dry. But they can also be found to be breaking the law if they're not treating enough of the sewage before they discharge it. It's not clear whether what was discharged here is illegal or not, but Vaughan Lewis can't see any permitted reason why what looks like untreated sewage should be discharging or spilling into the river.
It hasn't rained for about 5 days in West Oxfordshire, so no, that work should not be spilling. From what we've seen on the camera, on the footage that we've seen, there is a fundamental problem here. That's what appears to be happening.
In a statement, Thames Water said Cassington Sewage Treatment Works has not discharged untreated sewage since March last year. An assessment on January the 17th found the river area was in good health. Any problem seems to be occurring in the long pipe that takes the treated effluent to the river. We're determined to understand what is coming out of the pipe. We regard all discharges of untreated sewage as unacceptable. Peter Hammond is a retired professor of computational biology who's also a campaigner.
My data shows when the individual sewage treatment works are spilling illegally.
This week, the BBC revealed data compiled by Peter Hammond, which suggests there have been thousands of illegal discharges or spills of untreated sewage over the last 4 years. Some of the spills appear to have gone on for months.
Well, the Environment Agency could have access to the data, but they choose not to, unless they've got a suspicion that there's a problem. And I've shown in many examples where you need the detail to actually get the suspicion. So that means that many spills that are illegal are just passing by the Environment Agency.
The Environment Agency says their major investigation into possible unauthorised spills at thousands of sewage treatment works is ongoing. On a bank of the River Thames at Denton near Stockport are Chris and Alan. They say fishing here is a way to escape the stress of everyday life. They care passionately about the river, and it's distressing to them to see the mess that gets left behind when untreated sewage makes its way into the river. What do you make of the condition of this river?
It's absolutely disgusting. The sanitary towels, we've done raking with a rake throwing it in to remove what's on the bottom, and we're finding these on a regular occurrence. I've probably removed this year alone probably 20-30 bags of these.
Peter Hammond's report shows that 2 of the treatment works that feed into the River Thames at Hyde and here at Duckinfield, between them discharged untreated sewage on more than 300 days over the last 4 years. The data comes as no surprise to Jamie Woodward.
Within that sand and silt we'll find microplastics. Now we'll find microbeads, microfibres, small plastic fragments. Peter Hammond's analysis of the flow data from the sewage treatment works is really very significant because it demonstrates that it's become routine on this river for spills of untreated wastewater. And that was our conclusion when we looked at the microplastics, and it's the only explanation for the high concentration of microplastics that we find on this riverbed.
In a statement, United Utilities said the presence of microplastics in the River Thames is not evidence that sewage is being discharged untreated. Some of the water companies say there are some inaccuracies in Professor Hammond's data or disagree with the methodology. Water UK, which represents the industry, said water companies agree that there is an urgent need for action to tackle the harm caused to the environment by overflows. It seems as if the quality of our rivers has never been more important. Through the pandemic, people turn to them not just for exercise, but to improve their well-being. Zoe Conway, BBC News.